So when you're teaching a classroom, you would basically walk into the room, turn on the lights, turn on your computer, turn on all of the monitors in the classroom. The audiovisual equipment that's in this black box to the side would be on by default. So if there's any issue with some of the screens that are not turning on or not displaying properly, or any of the equipment here is not on and you need assistance, you can give IT help desk a call. They can jump in to help with that. The next step after you kind of get situated and everything's on and running would be to sign into your system. So log in using your Cambrian credentials and then start Zoom. You can start your meeting, would be the next thing after that, just to make sure everyone is coming into the classroom. Make sure you see all of your students. The students that are in the classroom, they'll be either just participating verbally from in person, or they can, if they have a device like some of our test students here do, you can log into the meeting. They could ask questions in the chat as well that way. They can interact with the students that are virtual that way as well. I just see Jenny posted a question in the chat, so you can see chat messages and stuff are coming up. So we can see everybody. Some of them are here and on, and some of them are also just attending virtually. If you have any materials that you need to share, like a PowerPoint or a video or other documents, make sure you open those up as well. And then you can share those just like you would in any other Zoom meeting. So you can share your screen, choose what to share. So for example, you have a PowerPoint you want to share, you can share this with the screen and present it so that everyone virtually can see. It also appears on the sides for all the students who are in class. They can see that pretty good because it's close to them as well as on the front here. If anybody asks a question in the chat or you need to see your participant list or anything else like that, you just move to the top with your mouse and you can see the window, the taskbar at the top from Zoom.
So if I ask a question from here, can the people on Zoom hear me?
Yes, if you speak loudly enough, because the room is wired, so it's picking up any audio in the room. So as long as you're speaking and enunciating clearly, they should be able to hear. If the professor's wearing a mic, like I am right now, you can just, like a normal moderated presentation, good practice, you could repeat the question so they can hear it better.
So if someone has a question who's zooming in, the way some of us are, can you hear it and can the other learners in the classroom hear it if it's being asked? Ooh, I see thumbs up.
Yep, we can all hear you. You're coming through the speakers in the classroom, so everyone can hear you. And if you have a student virtually that's not comfortable talking, they could also ask questions in the chat. Everybody could see it if you're sharing that view or if they're signed into the meeting. If you talk, we can hear you.
Chris, I have a question. So if you are teaching a group of students that are here in person and not tethered over there, right?
Correct, I can walk around. Everyone, because I'm mic'd, can hear me still probably, but even if, for example, Jenny's asking a question in the back of the room, you can still hear Jenny virtually and I can still see the monitors if I'm walking around. If I was sharing a PowerPoint, for example, I would do that through Zoom as well, and that way we could all see it that way. Like for example now, this is what's on the board is now what should be sharing on your screens as well. And if I'm writing something on the board, that gets a little bit trickier, I guess, for people who are virtual.
That PowerPoint, that share screen that you just did, we could all see it on Zoom. Anybody in the room sees it on the projection screen.
Yep.
And does it also show then on the monitors what we're seeing by way of the PowerPoint?
It does, yes.
So if somebody wants to look a little like to their right, they could have seen it.
Yep. Or if they have their laptop in front of them and they're in the meeting, they would see it because you're sharing your screen anyway. So they could see it that way too. There's only one monitor in here, so I can't see that like double monitor view in this particular classroom. But for some people, it might be easier to kind of go through a couple slides and then stop sharing so you can see your students again, kind of talk, see everybody sees everybody, kind of then share the next few. So if you kind of chunk your lessons into like little periods like that, it might be easier as well to kind of get those breaks to see everybody.
With the Epson pen, I used to teach in that classroom a lot with the pen. Will that show up for people on Zoom?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to do that. Zoom has a built-in whiteboard feature that will work. You can edit your PowerPoint slides, and these classrooms have the interactive tools that Epson provides that are loaded up on here as well. So when you're sharing your desktop, you can see everything and annotate and do everything live. And they'll have the interactive pens in here as well, so you can just scribble on the interactive board.